We're starting. We're starting.
Hello, everybody. It's Kenny Overton. Get on in the room. Come on in. And welcome to Black Opera Live. We are coming to you on this very, very special day. I am so excited to have my guests here today. But first, before we get started and into any sort of news and entertainment, I want to ask anybody out there, do you know what today is? Do you really know what today is? This is what today is. See, we don't just do opera here. It is the 21st night of September, baby. And I have three amazing women with me tonight. But first, I wanted to welcome everybody and thank everybody for your tremendous support last week for Black Opera Productions JN75, the Jesse Norman birthday celebration. We had such a great time putting that together and presenting it for everybody. And we hope that you were able to watch it and enjoy it and be entertained by it and inspired by it. And remember, you have one more day to go to YouTube or to blackoperafilm.com and watch it again if you want. We put a rebroadcast link and version up on YouTube. So feel free. You got 24 more hours to watch it. We had such a great time. Everybody was so wonderful to work with, and the family was excited and pleased, and so was I. I was tired afterwards and got lots of amazing feedback from people, and it's been great. It's been really, 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 really great. So I want to tell you about our guests tonight. My goodness, these are some amazing, accomplished women on this panel on tonight. So first is Adrienne Danrich, the voice of Emmy Award-winning soprano Adrienne, the voice of the Emmy Award-winning. I really don't think y'all heard me, because I said Emmy Award-winning soprano Adrienne Danrich. She has been described as fresh liquid silver, radiant, and having a sensual timbre and dramatic truth. And Opera News said that. And I have heard the sister sing, and I can vouch for that being the truth. She has performed and covered leading roles with Lyric Opera of Chicago, San Francisco Opera, Kenya Opera, Nairobi, and Mombasa. We got to talk about that, Adrienne. Cincinnati Opera, Opera Pacific, Sarasota Opera, Dayton Opera, Kentucky Opera, Lyric Opera San Antonio, Skylight Music Theater, and Fort Worth Opera. She has also performed at the Kennedy Center, Carnegie Hall, Alice Tully Hall, Merkin Hall, and most recently at the Lincoln Center Theater. Miss Danrich also appeared in the NBC broadcast of The Sound of Music Live. Yes, the one with the fabulous Miss Audrey McDonald, baby. In addition to singing operas, concerts, and recitals around the country, Miss Danrich performs her one-woman show, This Little Light of Mine, the stories of Marian Anderson and Leontine Price, which she wrote under commission from Cincinnati Opera. This Little Light of Mine was nominated for an Emmy, and Miss Danrich was personally nominated and subsequently won the Emmy for on-camera talent as performer and narrator. Miss Danrich has written 4 additional shows and has written 2 new libretti for Experiments in Opera's 10-year anniversary celebration. Her most recent show, Love and Trouble, a dramatic song cycle with lyrics by Miss Danrich and music by Miss Danrich and Dave Hall, was nominated for a Broadway World Cabaret Award after its premiere at Feinstein's at 54 Below. Baby, I'm tired just listening to all the stuff that she done. Fierce, when I tell you. Okay, Indra Thomas, mercy. Indra Thomas has established herself as an artist of incredible sensitivity, poise, virtuosity, and considered one of the foremost Aidas of her time. She has performed in many of the world-class opera houses and venues such as the Metropolitan Opera here in New York, Teatro del Magie Musicale in Florence, the Les Cieux in Barcelona, the Hamburg Opera, Vienna State Opera in Austria, Opera Africa in Johannesburg, South Africa. And she has performed in prominent venues here in the United States, as well as France, Germany, Spain, England, including Royal Albert Hall in London, Théâtre Champs-Élysées in Paris, also at Alice Tully Hall and Carnegie Hall, both here in New York. Amongst numerous top orchestras with which she has appeared are the New York Philharmonic, the Boston Philharmonic and Symphony, the Seoul Philharmonic in Korea, the Atlanta Symphony, Philadelphia Orchestra, the London Symphony, and Leipzig's Gewandhaus Orchestra, as well as leading orchestras in Paris, Spain, Brazil, and the Netherlands, Japan, Finland, Malaysia, Abu Dhabi, Cleveland, and Detroit. Mercy God. Miss Thomas has graced several famous music festivals, such as the Harare International Festival of the Arts in Zimbabwe. Oh, we got to talk about that too. The Opera Festival in Kazan, Russia, the Bregenz of Festspiele in Austria. Mercy. It just goes on and on and on and on and on. While in her teens, she became widespread attention when she sang What a Friend We Have in Jesus in the funeral scene of the Academy Award-winning film Driving Miss Daisy. Now I got to go back and watch that and go check for that moment. I ain't know all that. She was killing it as a little girl. Listen, Miss Thomas was nominated for an Emmy for her performance of the Porgy and Bess suite of the New Year's Eve broadcast live from Lincoln Center, and was also nominated for her recording of Michael Tippett's A Child of Our Time with the London Symphony Orchestra. Her latest film credits include The Upside, starring Kevin Hart and Bryan Cranston. A minister's daughter, whose mother was a nurse and gifted amateur singer, Miss Thomas was born and raised in Atlanta, Georgia. She is currently the visiting voice instructor and director of opera at her alma mater, Shorter University, and is a graduate of the prestigious Academy of Vocal Arts in Philadelphia. These divas they're really much. They're much, but it's fabulous and I love it. Tiffany Jackson, or should I say, Dr. Dr. Tiffany Renee Jackson is a classically trained singer, voice professor, fitness consultant, natural bodybuilder, motivational speaker, and writer of the one-woman show From the Hood to the Ivy League. She earned her BM from the University of Michigan, her MM and artist diploma from the Yale University School of Music, her professional studies certificate from the Manhattan School of Music, and her DMA from the University of Connecticut, in addition to multiple fitness certifications. Now, see, my brain hurts from all of that education. Okay? The woman is just a genius. Okay? A genius. Dr. Jackson was an apprentice with the Houston Grand Opera Studio, where she debuted the role of the mother in Mark Adamo's Little Women. In addition, she was an artist with the Aspen Music Festival, the Tanglewood Music Festival, the Ravinia Music Festival. Her European debut included a series of concerts with the great Roger Vignoles at the Bath Festival Trust. And in 2005, she made her Carnegie Hall debut as the soprano soloist in Haydn's Mass in Time of War. Dr. Jackson has worked with notable conductors such as Patrick Summers, Christoph Eschenbach, James Conlon, and the late Gustav Meyer. Dr. Jackson can be heard on Fare Ye Well, a recording project commemorating the life of Willis Patterson, Sweet Perfume in an Alabaster Jar, and A Balm in Gilead, with Emmy Award-winning composer Rex Cadwallader, drummer Artie Dixon, and bassist Mike Acetta. Dr. Jackson has appeared on America's Got Talent as the opera singing bodybuilder in 2011. And in 2003, she was chosen to travel to South Africa with none other than Oprah Winfrey. Baby, we got to talk about that, Tiff. I'm jealous. Currently, she is an adjunct voice teacher at the Choate Rosemary Hall and the president of Gift Passion Purchase Project Incorporated, a nonprofit organization whose mission it is to provide resources to gifted musicians in underserved communities. Now, folks, these ladies are as accomplished as their bios say they are, but I'm going to give you a sample, just a little sample of what that all sounds like, of what greatness sounds like, of what it looks like. 1 second.
This is a song for the genius child. Sing it softly, for the song is wild. Sing it softly as ever you can, lest the song get out of hand. A genius child. Can you love an eagle, tame or wild? Can you love an eagle, wild or tame? Can you love a monster of living nature?
at her. She has everything. She's so strong, very, very talented, like beyond. This is tough competition.
Fighting for her spot is 40-year-old Necessary Diva.
This competition means everything to me right now. I mean everything.
Her unique talent surprised the judges in Atlanta. Oh my God. I would call the act Guns and Lungs.
Welcome, ladies. Welcome to the show. How are you?
Hey, ladies.
Hello, beautiful ones. Oh my God, that was
Like, I can't
stunning.
take it. It's too much beauty, too much power, too much grace. All that Black woman wonderful is on my screen. Oh my God. So listen, before we get started, we just lost Indra. She'll be back. She'll be back. She'll be back. She'll be back. Before we get started with the show, I wanted to take a second for all of us to wish an amazing congratulations to the one and only Afton Battle for becoming General Director of the Fort Worth Opera, the first Black woman to do so, and only the second Black woman to be General Director of any opera company in the United States of America. Afton
Yes,
Come on, Afton. Yeah.
We love you, sister.
Yes.
We love you. We
Come
love you.
on.
We love you. We are so proud of you. And
Yes.
we will be the wind beneath your wings and watch you soar and do amazing things down at Fort Worth. And Fort Worth, congratulations for making an incredible, wonderful, groundbreaking, and deserving decision for a woman who is most deserving. We love you, Afton. Congratulations, darling. Yes.
Come on, Afton.
Listen, for me, it's always been the season of the Black woman, but y'all really carrying on now in the middle of pandemics and stuff. Y'all taking over companies and stuff. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So y'all are already getting a lot of love in this here chat from folks. I'll put some of them up. Adrienne, Nicole.
I love me some damn
Indra,
Hey, hello, beautiful people. Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
That is just, oh my God.
Karen.
Like wanting to go to lunch. Yes. All of our sisters. Come on, sisters.
Listen. The folks are loving on y'all.
That's beautiful.
Aww.
Hey, Nicole.
Thank you, Nicole.
Yes, indeed. Carry on. Yes, indeed, Karen. You with La Slack too. She's Karen.
Slack.
Everybody, it's Karen's birthday tomorrow, so wish her a happy birthday tomorrow.
Happy birthday,
Make sure y'all shout out La Slack, my sister.
I got you tomorrow. Listen, La Slack made a donation to my nonprofit, and it was a cute donation too. It was cute. It wasn't like $25.
That's how we do. That's how we do. And that's what our community has to get back to doing in full force, is supporting each other, supporting one another in our endeavors, and watching and enjoying each other shine. I love it. Absolutely love it. So let's get started with y'all now. I want the folks to know, Indra, where did you grow up? How did classical music become a part of your life?
Hi, everybody. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. I grew up here. Classical music actually became a part of my life through my mom. She wasn't, she studied classically when she was younger, but she had this operatic voice. And of course, she was always singing around the house. And so when I got to high school, my chorus teacher heard me, Miss Mildred Fawcett, and she took me under her wings and she gave me lessons in the morning, at lunchtime, and in the afternoon. And so she
Wow.
introduced me to my very first art song, which was Ich grolle nicht.
Ah,
Oh, that's a good one.
I was taking time in high school, and so it was natural. And then she introduced me to Kill Bel Sogno, and then it was done. I was like, okay, that's what I'm supposed to be doing. And so that's how I kind of got introduced to it.
wow.
Around it. We didn't go to operas. We didn't listen to a lot of operas growing up, but it's always been around me in some form.
Interesting. I love that. Come through, mama. So what about you, Adrienne? Tell us, how'd you get started in this crazy industry, in this music?
Well, I kind of fell into it, and I heard your Tiffany speak once before about the fact that she found out, oh, I have this voice, and I'm, so that it led me there. So, but I was not raised around classical music at all. I grew up singing in my dad's funk band, and I did that all the way through college and on and on. And I got accepted into Performing Arts High School, and that's when I had my first art song, Virgin tu tu amor.
Come on.
And I, entered the AXO competitions and things like that. And when I was a sophomore in high school, at my last semester, I won a competition to study with a voice teacher who was teaching at Washington University in St. Louis. And she is still my voice teacher to this very day.
Wow.
I was 14, 15 years old, and Mary Sticky, and I got accepted into Tanglewood in my junior year. So I was there in high school, and I had no clue what it was like to be around people who were not Black. That was my first, I was literally thrown in. My roommate was from Japan. And it was like, it really was like, put my feet to the flames a bit. And I decided that after that summer, if I liked classical music, I was going to pursue it. I got to sing with Barbara Hendricks, Michael Tilson Thomas, and Leonard Bernstein, the Chichester Psalms, like all these things. So Seiji Ozawa was there, and I just Bobby McFerrin, whose dad I got to sing with, and I was also 15. Robert McFerrin.
Wait, hold on.
Yes, I did.
Oh my God.
I sang a duet with him when I was like 15 years old. He came to my church, and they had this program started by the Cincinnati Symphony called In Unison, and they would go around to the different churches in Missouri, and I didn't know who he was. I'm such a goofball. And my godmother, of course, she was a good friend of Grace Bumbry's. They went to Sumner High School together. She played for Grace all throughout high school. And so she was like, wow, that is the first Black man to ever sing at the Metropolitan Opera. And so he's like blowing it down, and he was pretty elderly at that point.
Wow.
So I kind of swam around this classical music. And it was actually in my junior year when I went to Tanglewood, I decided that I really wanted to do this. I remember us all standing around singing Ubi Caritas with our eyes closed in the shed at Tanglewood, tears rolling down my eyes. And I said, I'm going to do this. So that's my story.
Amazing. So, Dr. Jackson.
Yes, sir.
how did all of this start? Where did you grow up? How did classical music ease its way into your world? And now you're like a genius.
It was very sneaky how it eased in. It was sneaky because it wasn't a plan. Well, I was born in Philadelphia.
Hey.
But I was raised in New Haven, Connecticut, in the hood. And so, my mother and my father played a lot of music around the house. That's when we had albums. So I grew up appreciating music from the very beginning, listening to like the Jackson 5 and Whitney Houston on LP, growing up listening to music and hip hop and all that. But I always sang, Kenny. I was singing nursery songs as a kid. I was always singing. We was doo-wopping in the hallways in the hood, always singing. I went to Catholic school, and this is when I started to think a little bit outside the box, because in Catholic school, I learned songs like "Let There Be Peace on Earth," and the sisters loved John Denver and all these types. So I learned how to appreciate music outside of my own. But at the same time, I got my biggest influence to sing in church. The sisters, "We Lies Rock." I mean, they was just singing like, wow, and then the singing made people move and dance and shout. I was like, wow, I want to have that effect on people. You know what I mean? And so I went from there to taking voice lessons at a school called Neighborhood Music School, where Miss Norman was an honorary board member. That's how I met her years ago. And I took voice lessons there with this woman named Kay Cope. And she taught me "Caro mio ben, se ben crudele, cessate di piagarmi, vergine tutto amor, tu lo sai," you name it, right? And then it came to a point when I was in sophomore, junior year where she was like, "Tiffany, you're beginning to sound like me." I was like, okay, I hope that's a good thing. And then I started going to summer programs, and then I would meet people who would say, "Do you know you have this voice? Do you know you have this unique voice?" Because I didn't really know it was unique. When you're the only person in your neighborhood singing and doing your thing, you don't really have a comparison. You just do what you do. And so from that point, I met Jerry Sienna, who was a professor at Yale, and his wife, Corby Myrick. And I started to take voice lessons with them. I would drive to Madison to their home and take lessons. And they told me, "You have the voice to have a career in opera. We're going to get you prepared for your auditions to get into an undergrad program." And that's how it started for me. And I went to UMich and I met George Shirley. And that's when I decided that's what I'm going to do.
Wow. Amazing.
Yeah.
So Indra, did you know that you wanted to go to school for music? And if so, what made you choose the two schools that you went to?
Interesting enough. So I started studying when I was 13 years old with my teacher in high school, and she was teaching me all this great music. And it came to my senior year in high school, and she asked me what colleges I applied for, and I said, "Oh, I'm not going to college." And she said, "Of course, that face you just did is multiply it times like a million." And she was like, "What?" And I was like, "Yeah, I wasn't planning on going to college. I don't think I'm smart enough," or something, some crazy answer. And so she threw me in the car and took me around to different colleges. I applied to Spelman, Clark, it was Clark College at the time. And she told me about Shorter College at the time. And Shorter was making strides in all these Metropolitan Opera winners. And they had a teacher there, John Ramser, and he was also, I'll get her name in a few seconds. Anyway, so he was teaching all these people, and she said, "You have to be, since you're," and she talked to my mom and dad about this. She said she has to go to college. She's too talented. She can easily get a scholarship. She just has to apply. And so I went to Shorter. Then in the summer of the beginning of the fall season, and got a scholarship and went to Shorter. And I thought, oh, okay. And I said, well, I'm not good at anything else. I took a look at the high school transcript. I knew what I was good at. Music. Done. So, and so I said, okay, I'm gonna try to be an opera singer. And I got to Shorter, and it was a magical place. And Jamie Barton went to Shorter, graduated from there. And so it was a magical place for me. Like Adrienne said, I grew up in an all-Black situation. My father was a minister. I went to a Black church, went to a Black elementary school, went to a Black high school. And then I went to a predominantly white school. And I was for some reason I wasn't scared. I wasn't intimidated. It was like, wow, look at all these people, and I'm excited to know them, and excited for them to get to know me. And so I had a really great time. Took me 6 years, but I had a really good time at Shorter. And then after Shorter, I found a teacher in Atlanta, Betty Colson. I don't know if you know Stuart Neal. That was her teacher, and they both collaborated together and got me an audition at ABA, and I was green, 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 which in the long run was a good thing because it just dump information into me as opposed to me being resistant. Like, oh wait a minute, I know that already. No, I was soaking it up like a really dry, thirsty sponge. And so there I had Bill Schumann as my voice teacher. And and so I kind of started my career there. And yeah.
So AVA, it's for those who don't know, that's the Academy of Vocal Arts in the city of brotherly love, the city that gave me my birth and all of my appreciation. So I have a Philly has a very special place in my heart. But going from, say, Shorter to one of the biggest, best, most competitive places in the world for singing, was that a jarring experience? Or once you got in, did you go with the flow? Or what was that like getting started in a place like that?
Can I be totally 100% honest?
That's how we do here.
Okay. I didn't know that what ABA was. All I knew was great school. This is how green I was. You understand what I'm saying? Green, just bliss. Ignorant, just blissfully ignorant. I didn't know the multitude of what ABA was when I walked through the doors. All I knew is that I had to show up and get it done. That's all I knew. And so I was on the grind all the time, and I knew they were popping out people left and right. And all I knew is I wanted to be one of those people that they popping out left and right. And then, after the first semester, I thought, that's when I went, wait a minute, this is a lot. And so I called my voice teacher and said, Miss Colson, I think I'm gonna come home. I just don't know if I can do this. And she said, okay, you come home, I'm getting you in the car and I'm driving you right back. And I was like, okay. So I said, I'll give it one more semester and now see. And after that second semester, because that it was jarring, that first month, you have vocal damage because you're singing, like, all the time. You don't have vocal damage or anything like that. You just singing all the time. Your voice was not used to that. And they would just grind. They get it done at ABA. You get to sing, you get to coach, you get to have great voice lessons, you get diction lessons, you get to take the languages and all the above. And I was just like, okay, I'm gonna get it done. And I really strive to do my best. That's all I could do. That's all I had to offer. And once I got into the groove of it, I just kind of rode that horse, all the way through.
I had Latanya Moore on a couple of weeks ago, and she said that she would stalk you and wanted to be just like you at ABA. So I guess you left a huge impression at the school, on the school, and on so many people. That's amazing.
I guess so. Thank you.
Amazing. So Adrienne, what about you? Where did your education take you? Did you go to school for music? Is that what you wanted to go to school for?
Well, actually, I'm going to just say something about what Indra said about calling her teacher. When I was at Tanglewood, I was there for 2 days. I called home and I said, get me a plane ticket out of this place. I don't want to be here. The people smell funny. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just joking. I'm kidding about that part. But I did call home. I was ready to go up out of that place anyway. And the same thing. No, baby, you just stay right on where you are. Yeah. I went to school at Eastman School of Music, and I really wanted to be a teacher. That is what I wanted to do. That was my passion. And honestly, it still is. Every time I go to perform my show, I gift a master class. I had the the fortune of studying with Seth McCoy, who you honored in one of your beautiful when you were honoring African American Black singers, and I went to Eastman because my voice teacher, Mary Henderson Stuckey, also went to Eastman. And I wanted to kind of follow in her footsteps. And I had such a fantastic time there. And when I was a junior at Eastman, I went to go, Mrs. Stuckey moved from St. Louis and she moved to Cincinnati to teach at the college conservatory. So I went and I stayed with her for a summer, and she lived in Kentucky at the time, and she would drive me in to Cincinnati, and I would get there and I would sit in her studio and listen to the people. And I went around to some of the classes, and I was like, okay, I want to go there because Mrs. Stuckey is there. And when I got to CCM, the College Conservatory of Music, I really did not want to audition for opera. I was like, no, I am here. I can be in the opera chorus. I'm totally fine with that. I just want to like get my feet wet. And my teacher said, absolutely not. You will audition. I cried, y'all. I was like, but I don't want to audition. Because I'd never done anything like that before. And I got a tiny little role in Der Graf von Gleichen. I know Nicole Lane is out there listening. Nicole, you remember Der Graf von Gleichen? Okay, this Schubert opera that nobody can perform that thing no more. Anyway, got a tiny little speaking role in that little thing. And I was like, okay, that's not so bad. And I just, after that first audition, the opera thing, I was like, bring it on. I got this, it was really, really fulfilling. And then I went on, I got my master's degree in music, and voice. And then I did 1 year of doctoral work. I was not feeling that at all. And so then I switched over to the artist diploma program. And hey, AJ in the house. And it was just really a wonderful experience for me. And I really got my start singing opera at Cincinnati Opera. So while I was at school, I was like getting money, singing at Cincinnati Opera, doing little things here and there. And my teacher told me there is a time to sing and there is a time to teach. And this is your time to sing. You can teach when you're a little older. And I am so glad that she pushed me and that she prodded me and that she was that shoulder I could cry on when things weren't going so great. So that is my school story.
Amazing. Now, Tiff, you are the education queen. I boweth down to the educational prowess that is Dr. Jackson, darling. So
you're nasty.
Take us through through the steps of all of these. First of all, incredible institutions of higher learning, and excelling at them. Was it always a desire from the beginning of the education to become Dr. Jackson, and what are the steps in between?
Okay, so when I attended the University of Michigan, where I got my bachelor's degree, and I met George Shirley, then I wanted to do everything that I was involved in. I wanted it to be about excellence. And Mr. Shirley is a great singer, but he also is a linguist. And he also is someone who loves literature. And he's also someone who is constantly talking about all the different components of being a great artist. So from that point on, I said, okay, I took literature at Michigan, argumentative writing, comparative writing, African writing. I took Russian, German, Italian, French. I said, if this singing thing don't work, I'm going to be smart as hell.
Yes.
So I said, And then because of my mom and my mother's mother and mother's mother and mother's mother, who was born in slavery, did not get the opportunity to go to school. My mother was picking cotton in the 50s. Yes, my mother was born on a plantation and her father was a sharecropper. So when I started this educational journey for me, I'm like, I'm going to go as far as I can take it in honor of my mother who did not have those opportunities. So that was always my motivation. But my voice in some ways kind of upstaged my desire to want to become more educated, because the more I sang, the more people wanted to hear me sing and the more opportunities I got to sing. So after I got my bachelor's degree, I went to Yale University where I got my master's. And that was a good experience for me because I was in New Haven. And my mother, we were still living in the projects. You know, I was walking from the projects to Yale University. See, people don't understand. I went from one set of bricks to another set of bricks.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, it wasn't something that I saw as unique or different, because it was like, I'm walking to school. Right. And when you grow up in New Haven, Yale University is just a school. But when I walked in the doors and I saw what was behind those walls and those bricks, I said, this is a city within a city. I had no idea what was happening in that institution as I would walk by there every day since I was 7 or 8 years old. And at Yale, I picked up languages again. I studied German and French and Italian at Yale. I said, I am not going to Yale University and only take music classes. Like, that just don't make no sense to me, to be at an institution like this, only singing and being around musicians. So when I took French, I would have to go to the college at Yale. And I would be in the classroom with all academics. I mean, there was a 17-year-old in that classroom. I mean, these are like brilliant people at this school. And so being in a class where I was the only musician, it felt nice because they saw me as unique to them. And I said, that's what I'm going to do. I'm always going to put myself in spaces outside of the familiar and comfortable space. And if I went to these institutions and studied other things, I would be the only musician in these classes. And I studied with Lily Chakazian at Yale University. Legendary mezzo-soprano contralto. I loved her. She was a mother to me. During my time at Yale, every summer, I went to a summer program. So I went to Aspen one summer. I went to Ravinia. That's where I met Roger Vignoles. I went to Tanglewood, which is where I met Seiji Ozawa. And during the summers, I would meet people who would encourage me to continue singing and thinking beyond my comfort zone. Because singing when I was young, it came kind of easy to me because I didn't necessarily think about it technically. I just sang. So it just was sort of an easy thing for me. And I think people thought maybe I wasn't so serious about it. And I just had other interests, you know. So when I was in Ravinia, I met a woman named Laura Canoe. And she was in the Houston Grand Opera studio at the time. She went back and said, if ever you go to the East Coast, you have to take a trip to Connecticut to Yale and hear this girl named Tiffany Jackson sing. And Gay Letha Nichols came to New Haven only to hear me sing. And there were some amazing singers there that year. Matthew Polenzani was at Yale that year, Bruce Baumer, Jane Dutton, they were all there. And that's when I was like, damn, man, I got to go through this opera thing, you know, because I was already prepared to go to my next educational institution. And that's how the Houston Grand Opera happened.
And that's where I met you, isn't it, Tiffany?
Yes, that's where we met.
Yeah.
Yep, that's exactly where we met.
That's amazing. Okay, I'm exhausted from that. I mean, people don't think about, you know, distance-wise from the projects to Yale is very short. Because remember, I would come and visit you when I was at Hart School of Music in Connecticut and sleep on your mama's couch and eat her chicken and rice and beans, baby. Listen, your mother cooks down. Down.
I escape it every day. I know.
I love it. So coming into the career, Indra, what was that like, leaving the educational comfort of AVA and then going into having this extensive singing career that I just read off from your bio. What was that? What was the journey like from ABA to getting checks?
Yeah. And I got an agent while I was still at ABA.
Wow.
So, so the thing about ABA was I, one of my friends said that she wanted to audition for ABA, and I said, I don't want to go to school for another 4 years. And so God or somebody in this ear right here said, well, what else are you going to do for the next 4 years?
Mm-hmm.
Oh gosh.
I said, well, fine. This is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go to ABA in my second year. I'm gonna get me an agent, and then I'm gonna leave it because I ain't gonna be there for 4 years. I'm gonna get me a career and all this. Well, I did get the agent, but I did stay for the 4 years. Why? Because I needed them coachings and then all the above. So the transition from going from ABA to now working was at first was a little like, oh my God, because you had that cushion at ABA that helped you learn roles and all the above. And I went back all the time and studied and coached my roles with the coaches at ABA for a very long time until I got extremely busy. And then I pulled the coach from where I could. And then after a while, it was like riding a Mustang, a wild Mustang. I was on the road all the time, just going from gig to gig to gig, at a gig, getting a gig, jumping into a gig, and all the above. And so I was literally a racehorse with blinders on. I couldn't look left. I couldn't look right. There were no birthday celebrations. There was no Christmas. There was no Thanksgiving with the family. It was always on the road until I ran myself down.
Wow.
So it was just what it is. And I am very grateful for every moment, the good, the bad, and the ugly, because it gave me everything I need to help teach and mentor young kids, young students. And so a lot of people reach out to me about an array of things. If you want to know about it, I probably did it. How weight loss surgery, singing Ida's, on this continent and then the other continent, or whatever. So I'm thankful for every moment of my career now and past, now and present.
So talk a little bit about, because you it's in your press materials that you are one of the premier AIDAs of our generation. And so talk about not only how the role or why the role figures so prominently in your life. Is that something that you looked to make happen? Or did it happen because of the gorgeous color of your skin and your voice, or a combination of the two?
No, it was definitely the color of my skin and my voice. I ran for my years. People ask me at the top of my career before I even left ABA, do you sing? Do you sing? Do you sing? No, I don't. Thank you. Could I sing? Yes. But should I sing? No. So I really had to wait until I was mature enough mentally to sing the role. I mean, it's not a vocal role more so than it's a psychological role. It's a big night. You're on stage for 2 hours. Psychologically, you got to get through that. How are you going to get through 10 performances of Aida? It's a psychological thing. So you really do have to grow up. I would tell people, if the young people who are starting this role, really take a year to learn it. Take that year to really learn every nuance of that opera. Create your own concert of performing it first, before, as a concert or something, before you start going into these opera houses doing it. If you want to have a long career as an Aida, learning it quickly and jumping on stage and learning it, it's not a good idea, in my opinion. I mean, if you can do it, God love you, but take the time to actually learn that. Any title role, I think, because the title roles, the Toscas, the Don Giovannis, the Otellos, all those big name roles, they need time to marinate in your psyche.
Amen.
And your voice. Yeah. I mean, technically, we know what we're doing technically or whatever,
Mhm.
but you got to marinate that girl in your psyche or that boy in your psyche first.
Mhm.
Because
Absolutely.
it's scary. It's very
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, folks, this don't look or sound scary. I'm gonna give y'all a little taste of what she just talked about. Hold on to your wig. Ma'am, I'm done. I done threw everything that was not tied down in my house at this screen.
I would have snatched my wig, but I glued it on too tight.
My wig is gone. Listen.
Oh my God.
Indra, that is just stunning, amazing, fearless, fierce, incredible artistry. My God.
Yes.
The middle
know
of the
what I
earth
love?
singing. Jesus. Yeah.
You know what I love about that singing is Indra is always spinning. You know what I mean? A lot of people, when they sing that kind of repertoire, they get all huffed and puffed. And it's just a spinning, like y'all can huff and puff if y'all want to. Right in that place. It's inspirational.
Oh, where's she go? Oh, she sang so fabulous it knocked her back off. She'll be back in a second, y'all. My God.
Spinning.
Girl, that's just
now.
I can't say enough about that. When you sent me that clip to play, I played it in here in my house 10, 15 times before I uploaded it to this thing. Just incredible. And the people in the chat are going crazy for you. Look at this.
Kevin Short.
Kevin Short.
Oh, I love me some Kevin Short.
Listen.
That studying is that's an understatement. Lord Jesus.
Okay, listen.
Woo.
Somebody in here said, hold up. Somebody said this. Listen.
Yes. Oh gosh.
Did not catch the wig fast. Indra, that was incredible.
Yeah,
and as you see, folks, that is why not only is she one of the most sought after Aidas, but she's one of the most sought after singers, because the woman can sing anything you put in front of her.
Yeah.
And it's an honor to be witness to that, my dear friend.
Yes, darling.
My Lord.
Listen. So now, Adrienne,
yes.
Tell us about how you came busting into the career, singing all the roles that you do, madam.
Well, well, let me just start off by saying I am with you, Miss Indra Thomas. I just sing what I want to sing. And I went down to the Home Depot. I bought some boards. I bought some nails and I made my own door.
Come on.
So let me just put that on out there right up front. Um, I actually, I said I started at Cincinnati Opera. I started in the chorus there, and then I was heard by Henry Venanzi said, "You really need to sing for," I forget who was there at the time. Anyway, and so I sang, and then I moved up to the Young Artist program at Cincinnati Opera, and then I moved up to be an artist in residence, which meant that I got to sing. The High Priestess in Aida when Miss Denise Graves sang her fantastic Aida that summer. Yes, it was just gave me just so. She did not sing Aida.
Amneris.
She sang in Aida, but she sang Amneris.
Yes.
And she was just so phenomenal. I was still a student at CCM when I got my debut role at Kentucky Opera singing Pamina. And then I entered a couple of competitions and got a few things going on. And my life just kind of started doing its own thing. I sang with a lot of orchestras, and the biggest thing to happen to me was when I was still doing all of my singing in operas. I was doing some, Donanas, and I did the La Contessa, and I'd done a couple of things like that. I was asked to write a show for Cincinnati Opera. And my first show I wrote right after that Aida, and I wrote it with my good friend Eric McKeever. It's a show called Find Your Voice, and we took it on the road, and then Dayton Opera picked it up, and then we sang it, there. And so my life already started to take a little, I don't know, it was like a little curvy little road. And I just decided I was going to do and take whatever would make me happy. I was very fortunate that Denise Graves hooked me up with her manager, Jeffrey Vanderveen, at Cami. And while I did not sign with, yes, that's right, Karen Slack. Yes, I met Karen. I sang with San Francisco Opera a number of years ago for 3 seasons, and that's where I met my beautiful Karen while I was there. At any rate, Jeffrey Vanderveen was the person who opened the door for me at San Francisco Opera. And Lafi Mansouri was there. Christina Scheppelman was still there. And I was there doing an audition on the opening night of Dead Man Walking. And went backstage and met all of the people. It was really it was overwhelming to me a bit, because I'm seeing all these people that I've only been able to view on television. So it was really quite overwhelming. And
I'm sorry, did you meet Teresa Ham-Smith when you were there?
I did. She may not remember me. Because I didn't really talk to very many people. It was really truthfully overwhelming, because there were also protests outside of the opera right there, because people were protesting Dead Man Walking. And people who were pro death penalty were outside. There were maybe 50 people, but to me it felt like a million. It was very intimidating. Yes, I did. Teresa was so fantastic. I mean, just gave me shivers. Just really, really phenomenal. And I started to someone earlier in the conversation, I can't remember who, I think it was you, Doc Tiff, that said that you just soaked up everything. If I were not a singer, I would be a librarian. I have a tiny little apartment here, and I have all of these books surrounding me, and I refuse to get rid of them. I read voraciously. And in all of that, I have found my actual voice, and that is writing, composing. I just written a couple of libretti. And I have just started to just do what makes me happy. I can tell you this, the day that I decided that I am a singer and not just an opera singer, I cried. I cried.
Wow.
It was like I
Jesus.
had kind of like lost my identity, but found myself. And
Yeah.
I don't know, whatever, I just really felt like
Oh,
I'm going to sing what makes me happy, because I've been told almost all of my career, even when I was winning competitions, your list is very confusing. Adrienne, you don't know what rep you sing. Well, when you can sing fioritura and melismas, and you can do all of these things, and then you pop out these high C's and stuff like that, and have this sort of, I don't have a big voice. I just have, a little color in there, And so when you have a little color in there, they think that you can't do those things. So when you sing, when you sing all this stuff, they're like, what? When you float a note, I was there. Oh, yes. Oh, my God. That was crazy, AJ. Oh, my God. Anywho, so I just kind of feel like I'm just going to say this right now. In the opera world, I have felt like I have to keep proving myself over and over and over again. If I have sung with your company for 4 seasons, why would I have to audition for you again? I didn't lose my talent in the year. I hope not, knock on wood, praise God. But I feel like I still feel this way a little bit. Like even people who have hired me over and over again, they're still like, just like almost like they can't believe their ears. And then when they do hire me to go back, the raves and the this and the that, and it's still, you go away for a year and they go, So I stopped trying to fit into someone else's box. And I just started creating things that make me happy. Writing makes me happy. Research, yes, I'm a geek, makes me happy. And so my career looks like my career. And I learned that early on from my voice teacher. Your path might not be a straight one, but it's your path.
Can you say that again for the people in the back that missed it?
Your path might not be a straight one, but it's your path.
Sure.
It is your path. And so I always look up to people and love people and their journey, but I am exactly where I am. I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. I'm doing exactly what I'm supposed to be doing, and I just have to say that this pandemic has just brought out all the Adriennes. Okay. So listen, I just went from singing in a cabaret show, singing Natural Woman and Grandma's Hands, to doing Ave Maria, Schubert's Ave Maria last night. I'm getting ready to hop on a plane tomorrow to go sing the Mahler 4, plus 3 songs, 2 of which I wrote and 1 that was written for me. And so I say to anyone out there who is being told your voice, you don't know your voice, embrace every bit of your voice, every color in your voice, every genre in your voice, and just sing, honey. Sing.
Yeah.
I know that's right. And Adrienne is about to sing, so hold on to your wig again. I'm warning you.
Okay.
Come on.
Girl, messing up my. Don't be coming in my house messing stuff up. I am tired of
Girl. You're so funny. Oh God. Oh God.
I'm not going to have you coming in my house and tearing stuff up, Adrienne.
Oh my God.
Phenomenal.
Oh gosh. Thank you, Natasha. Yes. And embrace all of you, honey. Don't let people tell you what to say. You just say.
That's it.
Y'all, I mean, the chat is just going crazy.
So I love
Throat.
that.
The black throat.
Listen,
Oh gosh. Oh my goodness. That is
just
amazing.
fantastic, Adrienne. And that was a word, and I'm gonna take that word and let it continue to marinate in my spirit, because sometimes I just need to hear it again,
Yes, yes.
Thank you for that. Now, Doctor.
I got my wig back on.
Listen, listen, Candace, me too.
I
agree.
am scalped.
Scalped. Freshly scalped, darling.
Oh
Freshly scalped. Doctor, so tell us, the first time I met you, you kicked my behind in the Leontine Price vocal competition. So listen, it was in Connecticut, this district or this level, and I didn't realize at the time that there were other Black people that sang opera in Connecticut, because I only knew the Black ones that were at the Hart School of Music. But the competition was being held on the campus at Yale. So we drove on up 45 minutes thinking we're going to go in there and rock it, and we get there and I see two other Black girls, Shawn Elise White, Dr. Shawn Elise White, come on now,
Doctor.
who was also a student at Yale at the time, and Dr. Tiffany. And, I'm standing outside of the space where you sing, but you could hear what was going on. And she went in there and she was like, Surtai la notte di Silvanon. And I was like, well, I'm fighting for second place. So that's the reality of this situation. And lo and behold, Mr. Overton, second place. Here you go. Congratulations. And after that, I introduced myself to Tiff, and we became fast friends. And then fast forward to her recital that she had to give at Yale. I drove up to see it, and she sang Leslie Adams' Night Songs. Now, she sang this cycle before everybody started singing it all the time. Before, this was in the 90s, before folks knew about the magic of the night song. And I remember after the recital, I said to her, I'll have that score. Thank you. You can give me those. I'll take that because I'm learning these. You've already finished this recital, so you won't be needing them. I'll take those. But then you started doing concerts and orchestral solo appearances and recitals everywhere, and Italian designers making you custom gowns and going to New York.
Yes.
And I was just following behind, and I was just like, oh, if this is how the career looks, then I'm gonna try to mirror Tiffany Jackson. So Tiff, how did all of that start? You got people making gowns for you, and you singing with this symphony and that symphony and this. I mean, what's up?
Still living in the ghetto too. All that was happening when Arnold Scassi made that gown for me. I was still living in the bricks. Kenny, I have to say it's just it's God. Because I didn't ask for none of that. And that's the thing that I'm trying to impress upon with some of these young singers. Sometimes when you want something so bad and you want it more than the work you're putting in, then it's just is going to be disappointing to you. Sometimes you have to find your path. But I have to say, I started gigging young. I was gigging at Yale. I was gigging with the New Haven Symphony Orchestra, singing Beethoven 9 and Mahler 4s. And I think this all happened for me because instead of going to opera festivals, I went to song fests.
Good for you. Yes.
And when you're at song festivals, you get to rub shoulders with conductors and composers. You're up close and personal with creators. You understand? Seiji Ozawa, I remember him coming to Seiji Ozawa Hall to hear me sing some Mozart scenes. And I remember him coming up to me and said, "Oh, you're Mozart, oh, Mozart, Mozart, oh." I was like, wow, Seiji Ozawa. And I would always be shocked when people would respond to me in this way, because remember, I sang because I was just loving it and making noise. I didn't have the ambition or the aspirations to be this great opera singer. It was like I was just in these places. I was placed in the spaces and I kept making the noise. You understand? I ain't no fool. So
I identify with that very deeply. Amen.
You just keep making that noise. And so I have so much to say because Adrienne just touched my soul with so much that she said. My journey of being a singer was all predestined. I worked super hard, and then I would meet people and they would execute for me. Tiffany, we'd love for you to sing here. I'm like, okay, I'll go over here. And then I'd return to my work, you know, and then I would get what I would say interrupted. Tiffany, we'd like for you to come here and sing a concert here. I'm like, okay, let me put down my books and my weights and go over here and sing a song or two, right? But the turning point for me was in 2008. I was watching a production of La Boheme on TV, and I was on my mom's couch just chilling. You know, things slowed down a little bit, and a little economic downturn was happening, 2008, 2009. And I saw all my friends on that broadcast. Oren Gratis was one of them. We were in the studio together. And I remember at the end of the opera, I started sobbing. And I don't know why, you know, you always know Mimi is going to die. So I'm like, why am I crying? Like, I knew the woman was going to die because I've seen this opera a lot and I've been in it. Why am I crying? And I just felt that I had reached a crossroads and that something was triggered that day from watching the opera and seeing my friends on TV. And I didn't know what the change was going to be, but I knew I had to do something different. So I joined the gym.
Listen.
Come on now. Come on
one.
now.
I'll just take one. And
That's what happened.
I'll just take one.
The gym, and I started working out. In the beginning, it was not about bodybuilding. It was just doing something different than what I had been doing. And so I went on this journey. And what happened is I found myself through bodybuilding because of the real discipline that's involved. I think opera singers like to believe they're disciplined, but they're not. Because, you know, we do what we do as opera singers because we gotta go make our money, we gotta sustain ourselves, and we have to live. But discipline is something quite different. And I learned this through fitness. The discipline is about mind, body, and soul. Because when you become disciplined in your body, and when you become disciplined about what you put in your body and how you take care of your essence, then your life starts to change. And so I found myself through health and fitness. And then a couple of years after that, I went to Manhattan School of Music where I met Catherine Malfitano and Hilda Harris. And that was a turning point for me as a singer. I went to a class, and I'll tell this last story, and it was called Chanter Autrement. Chanter Autrement, singing differently, that Hilda Harris had invited me to. And the very first thing we were asked to do was to close our eyes and allow our minds to go to a place and time when we were inspired. And so I closed my eyes, and my mind went to Wolseley Hall, New Haven Symphony Orchestra, Kathleen Battle, red gown, hair snatched back, gorgeous queen floating out on stage, singing Exultate Jubilate and singing all this beautiful Viennese music. And then when we were asked to come back into the room, I woke up and I realized that I had been lying to myself for years. That I told myself that I sang because I sort of had to, out of desperation or out of sort of a way of escape from a life, from a neighborhood, right? But what I realized is that I sang because I was inspired to sing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I'm like, wow, I don't sing because of desperation, of not knowing. I sing because I was inspired to sing. And to sing out of an inspiration, I suddenly realized that I was limiting myself as a performer. That by only singing classical music and by telling my story through my one-woman show, which we'll talk about later, I couldn't tell my story and only sing music by dead white men. I could not tell a full story. I said, I got to go back to spirituals. I got to go back to the gospel I sang in church. I got to go back to Rodgers and Hart and Rodgers and Hammerstein. I got to go back to Duke Ellington to tell this full story. And it was only when I realized that I was inspired to sing and to sing chanter autrement, which means with intention or singing differently, meant that I had been limiting myself to this one genre of music where I couldn't fully be myself and I couldn't fully be a Black woman in the genre. And
Speak my story, Tiff. Speak it. Hallelujah.
That is how I found Tiffany.
Wow. Well, I'm going to give the folks a little taste of Tiffany with some Leslie Adams, with the great Roger Vignoles at the piano, with the final song of the set from Night Songs, Creole Girl.
That's Eshin.
Girl, you better spin
and
zip on and put the zip on the end.
My mother just came to the door. My mother came to the door when she heard that.
Baby,
she zipped off that note, didn't she?
you better go on and zip on the end. And let me correct myself. That is the great maestro Christoph Eschenbach on the keys for that performance. And I love how you introduce those great people to our stuff written by our folks. Thank you for doing that.
Yes.
Thank you.
Mm.
Thank you for
No.
doing that.
I asked him, Kenny, when I met Christoph Eschenbach at Houston Grand Opera. He was there conducting Tristan und Isolde, and he asked to hear me sing. So I had to fly in from Florida to sing for him quickly. And he invited me to the Schleswig-Holstein Festival, which is way up in northern Germany, to sing a concert with him and other young artists. And I remember him asking me if I knew the songs of like Dvorak, because we sang the gypsy songs together. I said, Maestro, have you ever heard of Leslie Adams? He was like, no. I said, Maestro. I said, oh, you will love his music. I said, the harmony is rich, the poetry, it's heartfelt music. And we were in Hamburg, I'll never forget this, in the Steinway factory, practicing those songs on one of those pianos. And he looked at me after playing those songs and he almost cried.
Wow.
So I introduced that music to Christoph Eschenbach. Yeah.
Amazing.
Beautiful.
Amazing.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Listen, the kids are going crazy. Sing, gals. I'm honored just to be in the four squares with y'all, for real. So, Indra, tell me, how do you go from being in a movie from a little girl and then in another movie as a grown woman? And, you know, both of them have to do with music. What is that like, and how is it different from being opera diva extraordinaire?
Well, they're pretty much cameos, so I can't, demand my trailer and things like that. So it's like, they get in and out. They were shooting Driving Miss Daisy in Atlanta, and they knew they had to do the funeral scene for the maid who was Florida Evans. That's not her real name, but from
Esther
Roll.
Esther Roll from Good Times. And so they found my church. They wanted a Black congregation in a red brick church with stained glass windows. They were very specific. And they went around looking at churches and they came across my church. And so they wanted to use my church. Well, I was away at school at the time and I had a church job. And so my mom calls me up. She says, Indra, they're shooting a movie at our church. I was like, okay, they want you to come sing. I said, oh, okay. So I came, I left. I told my church job I had to go and sing for Warner Brothers at my church. See, just oblivious. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Kind of, like, okay. I listened to Tiffany and Adrienne talk about how you just, Tiffany, the path was laid out and you just kind of walk it and it's kind of like, okay. And it's kind of how it was for me. And both movies were like this. I mean, just like, do you want me to come sing? Okay. You want me to come sing? Okay. You want, okay. Always okay. And at a detriment, always yes. I tell my kids, no is also a good answer. You don't have to go with yes. But so they shot it one day at my church. That was my church that I grew up in. It was my father's church. Coincidentally, my father died literally a year before, almost to the date of filming that show, of filming that movie. And so the funny thing is that they recorded me and they wanted me to lip sync back to myself. And I was riffing. I was like, oh, okay. It was a lot of fun. It was very different. We were there all day. They did hair, they did makeup and all that, and it was very it's a lot like being in an opera. It's just that you just got cameras in front of you, kind of thing. And for the upside, I was an actor. I wasn't really singing. I was lip syncing to somebody else because I don't sing the Queen of the Night. Never have. So,
oh my gosh,
it was a lot of fun. I saw that dress going up, flying up. It happened in Philly. Actually, they shot it in Philly, down at the Perlman Theater, Theater, like that. And so I flew up, and they had this dress with that reverse sequence on it, and the skirt was 12 feet long. It was amazing. And one of my best friends, John Miles, was also singing the Papageno in it as well. And we were just giggling and just having a good time. And we didn't meet anybody. Kevin Hart and Frank Cranston and were up on the like second level. And Kevin Hart was like, hi. And I was like, hi. And that was it. So, yeah, didn't really get to meet anybody. I met Jessica Tandy in, I'm sorry, in passing. I didn't, have conversations with them or anything like that. She and Patty LuPone, because Patty LuPone was also in Driving Miss Daisy. She was the wife to Dan Aykroyd. And she stopped. She saw I was sitting on our steps of our church, and she stopped and she said, I look forward to seeing you in the future. And I was like, yeah, that was me, just totally struck. I was like, in my head, I was like, that's the lady from Cocoon. And I was just, I was like, and it's just little things like that just kind of fell into my lap kind of thing. And I just like, okay, let's do it. I was that kind of fearless person that would just do it. And I have to say, some young singers, I think they want to pick and choose what they want to do, but I say try as much as you can, because you learn so much as a performer. You grow, you find your niche, you find who you are and what you are about. Like Adrienne said, she had a revelation of who she was. She woke up one day and said, you know what? And I did that. I woke up and realized that I'm an entertainer. And just kind of like, it took something away from always having to be the opera singer. Yes, it took out
the shackles.
It's like, no, I'm an entertainer. So therefore I shall entertain. If you want me to do some gospel, come on, let's do some gospel. You want me to do some Gershwin, some jazz, I'm ready. Let's do it, And it's why? Because it feeds my soul. Opera feeds my soul. Gospel feeds my soul. Jazz feeds my soul. Contemporary, whatever, it feeds my soul. And it keeps it not boring. I mean,
yeah.
So yeah.
Jesse Norman says pigeonholes are only comfortable for pigeons.
Yes. That's the truth.
And the thing is, so many people try to put you in their box because it makes them comfortable.
Right.
That is so
you know what I mean?
Ding, ding, ding. That is it.
And you just don't fit, do you?
I don't fit in that.
Not with all these hips, I ain't gonna fit. Nope.
And you get frustrated, and that's when you say, "Oh, maybe I shouldn't be doing this." No, that's not it. That's not the answer. You just don't fit in their box,
right?
And I'm gonna echo it again. Your path is your path.
Mercy.
Period.
Looking at somebody else's path is great and inspiring, but your path is your someone. So one of my best friends told me the exact same thing, Adrienne. What's for you is for you.
Yes.
Mercy.
You need to embrace it. Don't stop being envious of everybody else's stuff. Stop being envious of somebody else's high C or somebody else's whatever. You have something important to give. You have a light that we need to see as well. And I want all of you to shine your light, to get it
and
out.
you know what? There's room for all of us, though. That's the thing.
Listen,
there's room for everybody to shine. And
plenty good room.
Yes.
Plenty good room.
Good room.
My Father's kingdom, plenty good room. Listen.
Come on now, yes. Sing it then if you're gonna sing it. Oh.
Right in.
I love it. I love it.
Sorry, Kenny, what were you gonna say?
No, what were you gonna say?
I was going to say, when we even look at the people who are successful, the reason they're successful is because they're different, they're unique. That's why they're beloved, because they do something or offer something we've never seen before.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I tell people all the time, stop letting Leontine Price cripple you.
Because there's only one, honey.
There's only one, and we don't need any cheap knockoffs of her.
Be you.
She is taken. The world needs your high C. Stop trying to cripple yourself trying to match hers. Leave hers alone.
Yes. I have gathered a couple of students here during this pandemic. And what I have been expressing to one gentleman in particular is, I said, here is your license to be an artist.
Mercy.
Here is your license to be an artist, because what we learn in school, we learn how to draw on the lines. And it's not until you actually get out there into the world where you like realize that those lines are blurred. Just like someone just said, everyone that who's made it, I think you said this, Tiffany, everyone who's made it, they're unique. Or maybe, I'm not sure, Indra, maybe you said that, I can't remember. At any rate, they are unique because they made a choice. If we wanted to have the same Cotto Meal band sung by everybody, why we want you to sing it for? You know, what's the point of you singing if you're going to sing it like the last person? So find your way of doing it. And I give you the license to do it. You want to sing a pianissimo there, boo? Go ahead. Who going to stop you? They're going to come up on the stage and snatch you off in your own recital and say, ooh, that's supposed to be a mezzo forte. What are you talking about? Just do it.
Absolutely. Even composers. I remember learning Honey and Rue and having the opportunity to sing some of them, you know, for the composer whose name has escaped me. He just passed away recently.
Andre Previn.
Andre Previn at Tanglewood. And I remember him asking me, is that, let me look at the score. And he looks at the score. Oh, okay, that's what I wrote. It's like he wrote it and he moved on.
Yeah.
And so here it is. I'm just realizing what he wrote and I'm interpreting what he wrote, but he's not even caught up on what he wrote.
Right.
And they love the surprise. They love to say, oh,
yeah,
I discovered that way. All right, well, I'll put that in there.
The vessel is always different. Once you put your music out there, the vessel of who is presenting it, that's the one you need to appreciate at the moment. You know,
Look,
even though
I think if you believe what you're doing, we're gonna believe it, and that's
absolutely.
You gotta trust and believe what you're doing, and then I promise you, we will go with you on that journey. But you know, we can't go if you don't believe it.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yes.
Now, Adrienne, can you tell us, how did you end up with an Emmy up on your wall?
Oh, Emmy.
I'm not gonna be too ridiculous. It's right over there.
Listen.
Yeah.
How you get one of them?
What had happened was I was doing my show, This Little Light of Mine, at a theater in Wisconsin, Milwaukee. And this is a straight theater. Like, they've never done any kind of music stuff there. And this is what's so important about networking. My email announcing my show got to a man through 2 different attorneys that I didn't even know. They just like found it from somebody in Florida, a friend of mine, forwarded it to an attorney friend of hers who's a music lover, who forwarded it to a lady who was on the board of this straight theater. And and they hired me to come do This Little Light of Mine. After I had a 13-show run there. Oh my God, was that grueling. One-woman show, child, please. Anywho, so he invited the producers of Milwaukee Public Television to come and see a show. I did not know they were coming.
Yeah.
After the show, these 2 gentlemen pull me to the side and they say they want to produce my show for public television. And I'm like gobsmacked because I wasn't expecting, I didn't know they were going to come. And I was just like, okay. So we got to talking and we set it up. So I was there the next year. We did some, you know, I had to make some cuts because PBS, you have to be 55 minutes long. So I had to like basically cut, snip, do this, do that. And I wasn't thinking, who thinks about an Emmy? I mean, who even thinks about, okay, besides Kenneth. Okay. No, I wasn't thinking about awards because I live by what Seth McCoy would say. Sing to express, not to impress.
There you go.
Hold on. Say it again for the folks in the back that missed it the first time.
Sing to express, not to impress.
Yes.
Come on, Adrienne.
And I learned that from Seth McCoy. I didn't make it up, but you know what? That is something I really tried to live by. And so I wasn't there singing for, you know, getting an award. Well, the show goes out. We have plenty of negotiations, and I'm just going to insert this here too. When you are doing something in a field you don't really know anything about, like I'm on public television, I'm not a television person, I don't know anything, but you know what I do know is art, and I watch PBS. I remember giving them a 3-page thing when they sent me the rough draft. Here's the timestamp at 000. Can you do this? So I actually, I was one of the executive producers for my show. So it is very important that even when you're in big spaces dealing with the boss, you must protect your artistic vision. So I'll just insert that really, really fast. At any rate,
I need to hear that.
No, you just have to. And I did it in my Adrienne way, very nice. But here's your 3 pages of notes. And after we got everything settled, I get an email and saying that they were going to enter me into the Emmy pool. Okay, whatever. Well, there's a whole process that they go through to get to who gets to the nomination. Well, I made it to the nomination in 2 different categories, which was quite exciting. And I was not able to go to Chicago for the awards ceremony. Brian Lehrer of PBS was the person who was presenting, and I was very upset that I didn't get to meet Brian. I was in DC singing in DC. So I get a call. I just finished a performance in DC. You won. I dropped the phone because I was so surprised. I just was like, wait. So I dropped the phone literally. I had to pick it up and I said, I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Say
You
what
wanted,
now?
you say, Amy, say what now? And so I didn't know what to do with myself. I'm not at home, so I can't even hug my husband. I'm just sitting up there jumping around in my hotel room.
That is cute.
So I'd forgotten I had it. So it took them like 3 months to get me the actual plaque, the Emmy itself. And then the plaque came separately.
Mm-hmm.
So we get a ding dong. My husband's here. We're just chilling on the couch. And you expecting something? No, you expecting something? So we go. And he was like, this is really heavy. I forgot I got the dang thing. We open it up and it is in this beautiful cushioned black velvet box, and it's all gold and lovely, and she's just like, oh, and I'm like, oh my God. So we had the best celebration that evening with the Emmy sitting right in the middle. I said, I wish I had a chain long enough. I wear this sucker around my neck.
I know that's right. I know that's right.
Oh my word. It was actually quite surreal, and it still doesn't feel real. You know what? I have a Christmas ornament hanging off the side. I should show y'all.
Come on, get it for us. Get it for us.
I have a Christmas ornament hanging off the side of my
Oh,
Amy. You see that?
Hey, girl.
Hey, Amy.
There's a Christmas ornament hanging off side of the and in Christmas time. See, we have some lights that hang on her, and she is surrounded by Edna Mode and Yoda and all. That's ridiculous. I know. I love that I won the Emmy, but you know what? I feel like these accolades are great, right? But the biggest gift, and I'm really not trying to be too hokey, but I'm gonna be hokey anyway, because that's Adrienne. My biggest gifts come when I get the gift up from the audience, right? I mean, that my godmother was in the audience for that night. My best friend who was at our wedding was, in the audience that night. And that really carried me through. Now, I ain't mad that I got the Emmy. I'm just saying that was like an accidental thing, almost like Tiffany said. I was accidentally there. That's not something. I was not working for that Emmy. I was not. It was the furthest thing from my mind. And so I used to always say, I don't really care if I'm famous, but if it comes as a byproduct of me being the best that I can be, then yes, That's what if that, yeah, I know Henry cooked yes, he sure did, girl. AJ, you ain't seen these hips in a while. He sure did cook some meals for me. But hey, hush up, Nicole. You are hokey. Yes, I am. Always have been. But at any rate, the accolades are great, but as Indra was saying, you have got to work for it, honey. You have got to be at the top of your game. You have to walk into that room like on 150 or more. You can't just be coming in there halfway doing it. So that is my story.
Amazing. And I had the honor and privilege of seeing this little light of mine in person at Merkin Hall, and it is fantastic. Absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
So congrats to you, and please keep on writing and creating and sharing and being Adrienne, because that's what the world needs.
Thank you. And Kenny, you remember you sang on my CD.
That's right. I
have a CD out there. I'd never even talk about that. But anyway, I just remembered that.
Listen, if y'all need to find out how to get that, I'm sure if you go to her website, which is on the ticker tape right below, you can find information about Adrienne's CD. Write it down, take a screenshot, adriennedanrich.com.
Yes.
So Tiff, tell all of us about your show, From the Hood to the Ivy League. What was the inspiration for it? And where can we see it? What is it about? Tell us.
Okay. So when I finished all of this education, I went back to school in 2013, Manhattan School of Music. But then I moved to Storrs, Connecticut to begin studying for my doctorate degree in 2014. And I completed it in 2018. Well, that year, my father passed away, and my father did not raise me. My parents separated when I was very young, and my father had a lot of personal challenges. My father went AWOL from Vietnam when he was younger, and they threw him in jail. Ain't no telling what they did to the man, because my mom said he was different after that. So my father all my life was a man that, was a kind human soul, but was very troubled. So he lived his life, on drugs and having mental challenges and psychological problems all his life, in and out of jail. Really where he belonged was in an institution getting help. But you know what they do with us sometimes? They throw us in jail. And when what we need is some help. And my father never got that help. So my father died that year. And it's sad because I was thinking that after I finished my education, I was going to try to reach out to him and see if I could get some help for him. But unfortunately, he died in a fire in March the 7th, 2018. And I will never forget, the night before, I was on my way to sleep. And this happens to me every now and then, where I had this premonition, and I felt my father's presence, but I also heard these things like, he's gone, he's going, he's gone, be calm and stay in control. And I talk about this in my one woman show, he's going, he's gone. So I didn't really know what was happening, but I do know that it's not unusual for me to think about my dad and just pray for him. I'm like, Lord, bless that man wherever he is right now. So when I woke up the next morning, I was at my mom's, and my mother called me into the room, and her face was complete. So I knew something was wrong. And she said, "It's your father." And I'll never forget, I looked at my mother and I said, "I already know."
Wow.
Yeah, sorry, I'm gonna cry. Sorry.
It's all right. We do it real here, and you got support all around you, sugar.
Yes.
Thank you.
All of it.
Yeah. So when I realized he died, I just connected in a way that was even deeper than I had connected before when I was at Manhattan School of Music with Chante Autrement. I felt like when my father died, that I received this like dosage of energy, this creativity. I just felt endowed with more creativity and inspiration after his death. I didn't know he died in a fire, but when I found out how he died, it made me more sad. But when we traveled to Florida where he died, I remember going over to the space where they found him or discovered him, because there was not much of him left. I picked up a brick, and I took that brick and I put it in my trunk. And I thought it was the weirdest thing in the world. I said, Lord, this is strange. But it was the only physical possessions of my father. He had nothing, completely destitute, no clothes, no nothing. His body was practically destroyed. He just had this brick. So I put it in my trunk. And when I got home, I started to feel like, okay, Tiffany, you need to do something creative, not just to commemorate your father, but you just got your DMA, and you need to do something comprehensive, something big. So I started writing. And it's interesting because I had already began writing about the three most important pillars in my life: gift, passion, purpose. My gift is my spiritual endowment, and my passion is mind, body, soul building, and my purpose is service to others. Gift, Passion, Purpose Project, which is the name of my nonprofit. So when I wrote my one-woman show, I said it's going to be in 3 acts: gift, passion, purpose. Yes. And in the first act, I talk about my mom's story. Of course, I start with my mother's story, but then I talk about how I came into music and how music was something that I, just loved to do, and how I discovered music. I talk about that journey. And then I talk about growing up in the hood in New Haven and Church Street South housing projects, and how I would sing my arias and my songs, and people would be in the projects like, yo, Tiff, shut up. I'll be there like, what the hell is going on upstairs? I didn't care. I was going to sing my scales. And so there's a lot of humor in Act 1 as I talk about being an opera singer, living in the hood, and the position of that. I talk about my first love, more of a soul love, not a physical love, and my brother's brush with death. And then in Act 2, I talk about passion, my discovery of bodybuilding, body, spirit, body, Black bodies, violence against Black bodies. I talk about Sarah Bartman, and I talk about the lynching culture. I connect my healing in my body to Black bodies in general. And I put myself, it's really emotional, Act 2, as I talk about these things that happened to me as a kid and violation against my body, and how becoming a bodybuilder helped me to heal my body, helped me to heal and re-own, to take back my body, ownership of my body. And then in Act 3, I talk about purpose. I talk about my trip to South Africa with Oprah. I talk about my father's death. I talk about my mother and the greatest lesson I learned from my mother. I remember saying to my mother one day, Mom, if you weren't here, I don't know if I'd want to be here, because you love me unconditionally. And when you aren't here, unconditional love doesn't exist for me. And I remember crying about it and feeling all, and I was in my feelings. And my mother, my mother snatched me so terribly. And she said, that's not love, you crazy.
Listen, come on, Mother.
She said, you better get it together, because you ain't supposed to love nothing or no one more than you love God.
Oh, come on, God.
Hey.
Oh, that just gave me the chills.
And when my mother said that, I had to come to terms with my brokenness. My dependence on my mother, my codependence on my mother, and how close we are. I still am working on that. But my mother said, you got to find your own will and your own love within yourself, because I can't live forever. So, you got to get right with God, honey, because that's crazy. That ain't love. I was like, oh, Lord Jesus. I dried up my tears. I was like, I thought she was going to be like, oh, that's so beautiful. Oh,
not so much.
No, you crazy. You got problems.
You crazy.
You crazy.
You crazy.
Oh, wow.
Amazing. So I'm gonna play a quick clip from Act 3 of From the Hood to the Ivy League, and make sure you go to www.giftpassionpurpose.com and support Tiffany. Give as you can, as you will, and let's support her on this amazing project.
Thank you.
What was that spark? What was the spark that brought people out of their homes during a pandemic? What was that spark that caused people to walk all over the world with signs saying Black Lives Matter? What in the world created that? What was that spark? What was the impetus? The murder of George Floyd, an ordinary man. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountains, majesties above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed His grace on thee and crown thy good with brotherhood. From sea to shining, an ordinary man, an ordinary man.
Tiffany.
Jesus, come on.
Beautiful.
That just took me right on out. What is happening?
Gorgeous.
Oh my Lord. Oof.
It's on
Thank
your
you,
website,
ladies.
Tiffany, the whole thing.
No, actually, that the whole show I have, because I don't want my intellectual property hanging out there until I get to Adrienne's level. I've been holding on tight to it.
Mhm.
Okay.
But if you want to see the whole thing, Indra, I'll send it to you, and I'll send it to you, Adrienne, as well.
Please do. And by the way, you have it copyrighted, yes?
I haven't yet. No.
Do that right
Copyright-
away. It's very
copyright
cheap.
first. Yeah.
Go to the copyright office on their website. You can actually submit a copy, an electronic copy. I think it's like $55.
Mhm.
Oh,
And
wow.
then they give you a little certificate back, and you have your little thing. You have from the hood to Ivy League. And if you have songs that someone else has written, you just say that this is my. I've created the storyline, and these are my words, and that is what you're copywriting.
Ah, okay. Because
Yes.
I searched it, and it looked like, I'm like, wow, this looks really expensive. Okay.
No,
Okay.
it's really not. It's like $50, $60. It's really
Okay.
cheap.
This is
Please do it.
glad you mentioned that, because people are writing and they don't understand that they got to get their things copyrighted.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And the truth on copywriting, just so you know, as long as you have the verification of when you did it,
Yes.
that it's already copyrighted.
That's
but
what
there
I
is indisputable proof. When I have my license here from the from the copyright office that says this is my property, and yes, do
Okay.
it. Please do it.
I will do that, because when I read it, it said if you have, like, I have a script.
Yes.
I put together, and they said as long as you have it copywritten or written down, that was good enough. But like you said, to have that undisputable proof is what I need to do as well. Thank you for that, sis. Thank you.
Yes, you're
Amazing.
welcome. Mhm.
That's how we do here on this platform. We support one another.
Adrienne don't know. She gonna get sick of me.
Get thee to a copyright office on it now.
Listen, I always tell people, I'm very generous with my time or knowledge or whatever you want to call it, because it doesn't do me any good to keep it to myself.
No.
Yeah.
What you gonna do with it? Yeah.
The blessing is in giving it away and sharing it and helping somebody else. Just amazing. So during this pandemic time, y'all have been busy. So Indra, you and Tiffany are working on stuff and cooking up stuff and helping via mentoring. Can you tell us what this new project is all about? Oh, there she go again.
Indra. I was about to pass it over.
There she go. She'll be back. 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 So anyway, until she gets back, let me tell y'all something else. I wanted to take a moment and send up love for the life of Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Yes.
And she did so many amazing things, but a lot of what she did was for women. And so we thank her here at Black Opera Productions, Black Opera Live, and I know all of you ladies as well. So safe travel, Justice Ginsburg, and thank you. So blessings, just
huge
blessings.
Supporter of the opera too.
Huge supporter of the opera, and we love RBG for that. You know, she made sure that she supported the opera. She supported and loved singers and singing, and she even went to the opera often with Justice Scalia. They were on opposite sides of the political spectrum, but they, you know, got themselves together and went to the Kennedy Center and enjoyed opera and loved up on all of us who produce these sounds out of our throats. So big ups to the notorious RBG, and we thank you so much, so much for the work and the sacrifice. Because guess what, folks? She didn't have to stay as long as she did, but she did because she knew it was the right thing to do, and she did it for us. So we need to show up for her at the ballot box on November the 3rd. I ain't gonna go into all of my voting spiel just yet because we still here with y'all. But so during this pandemic, you ladies have been very, very busy. And one of the ways that you've been busy is that you've been mentoring young people, young singers. So Indra, tell me what you and Tiff have been cooking up.
Actually, Tiff cooked this up.
Okay.
Contacted me. Well,
I contacted that diva. That's what I did.
Tiffany, she's been mentoring these young ladies. It was a young ladies group. Now it's men, and it is now. But I think, right? Yeah, I think men are in. Yeah. And so, what she's been doing is every Friday evening. It's like a pajama party at 9:00. We all sit in bed she invites guests that come in, and we talk and we give them information. The last couple of people we had were Lori Toppin.
Louise.
I'm sorry, Louise.
Oh, she was amazing.
I'm sorry, Louise Toppin. She was quite amazing and quite informative, and loved her. I have been in touch with her myself because I needed to. And then the wonderful and the magnificent George Shirley was the last one.
Wonderful.
And I was a guest, and so I thought this was great. And so after I was a guest at this forum, Tiffany contacted me and she said, "Hey, I want to do like a mentoring forum for this group." And so we started the mentoring forum for the emerging African American opera singers, and it's a group on Facebook under my Facebook page, and it is a safe place to ask a question, to vent, to talk, to get it out, because sometimes you got to talk it out to organize your thoughts, and somebody needs to help you fill in the gaps. And so that's what this is. And so I just talked to a young lady the other night about, she was wanting to move to Germany. She asked me some questions about it. And I said, I never lived in a foreign country, but I know some people have, and I'm going to get in touch with those people. And so that's what the whole group is about. It's about inspiring. It's about nurturing, and it's about uplifting and supporting our younger opera singers that are really emerging. The emerging was really trying to break into the field.
Absolutely. That is fantastic.
You know, and I wanted to add just a little bit, and it happened quite organically because I was invited. Kenny, you were there one Friday. Indra came as a guest one Friday. I had them all come. Adrienne, I'm gonna be calling you too soon. You know, right now. So it started out with me being a part of a group called Opera Diva Slayers, right? And once I went into the group, I realized, like, wow, I'm double these girls' ages. I don't know what I'm doing in here and why they invited me in here, because I don't have nothing in common. You know, so much going on, and I don't want to, come in here and act like Mother Goose and Mother Hen, and because I'm not. teaching in the same way and the way they engage. So I decided to like, okay, let me just say, let's meet every Friday and get everybody to come out of the room, the little quiet room, and invite guests. Then I noticed, I was like, you know what? Let me call Indra and ask her if she wants to sort of make the platform a bit more expansive outside of Opera Diva Slayers, so I can connect with some of the young people she knows. And then I can open up to my the young people I know on my Facebook page, because I blog all the time. And also through Black Opera Alliance, and I be posting over there to get the young people to come out of there, to come over there. Because the whole objective, Kenny, is to stop talking and to do the work. Like, I just want to help people. I don't want to talk about what it means to be Black, and I don't even really want to talk about racism that much anymore. Right now, I'm just like, we know racism is real. We know it exists. Ain't nothing we really can do about it. People gonna be who they can be. We can't change people's hearts, but what we can do is be in control of ourselves and our own endeavors. Right. We can be entrepreneurial, and we can actually go out and do the work. So what I did was recently I gave away 2 $500 sort of like grants, development grants, through my nonprofit organization.
Come on now. Yes.
And I had the kids send me recordings, the bio, and my board is full of musicians. So they listened to all the sound and read the, some of their writings and things like that. And they picked 2 people, and I gave them $500. And I just decided, you know what? We're going to give everybody a little something. So I gave everybody $100.
Wow.
Personal money. So everybody got something out of the deal. That's what we're going to do with this group. I don't want to talk no more. I want to give money away. I want to look at their headshots and go, no, yes. I want to look at your bios and go like, what the hell? No. This is what you need. I want to hear their sound. They're sending me sound, Kenny. And one sister sent me sound. She was so nice to trust me. And I was like, sis, don't send that nowhere.
Listen.
We have to tell our kids the truth. If their teachers are not going to, some of our young sisters have to be able to come to us. So we can say to them, if you're looking for a professional job, you don't want to just try out an aria and send it.
Right.
To be that you're trying to get that job, you have to send something. So that's the kind of work. And I took up the burden a bit more because Indra just started teaching at Shorter, and I did not want to get involved. I said, sis, go get your studio together. I know. And so now she's starting to come in now that she's settled in school. So I had her back because we can get this done. So that's what we're doing, Kenny.
That's beautiful.
And please call on me and let me know how I can be of assistance. I got your back.
Ooh.
And me too. I'm right behind Kenny.
Just holler. Just holler.
Yes.
That's absolutely.
We're going to invite them in.
Oh yes.
I got some cute pajamas too, so I'm ready. Fantastic. So I've had y'all here for over 2 hours now. I cannot believe it. Just gibbing and gabbing. I adore all of you and wanted to know if you had, wait. So every week now, I have been asking all of my guests the same questions that James Lipton would ask his guests on Inside the Actor Studio. And at the end of every episode, he would ask the same 10 questions. They're one word or maybe one sentence answers, whatever comes to your mind first. There's no wrong answer. And so we're going to play this game with you all.
I'm bad at games.
You're going to be good at this one.
Stuff come out my mouth.
I know.
And that's the whole point.
The filter is bad.
We grown.
We grown. Ain't no filter here. Everybody grown.
I haven't cursed all evening. I'm so proud of myself.
Who said anything about cussing, even though that's one of the questions? So get ready. All right. So we're going to go in this order. This is a very soft, easy question. Okay. Let's go Indra, Adrienne, Tiffany, in that order. What is your favorite word.
I have two favorite words, and my
Okay.
two words is peace and love.
Yes, you sign everything with peace and love. I love that. I love that. Adrienne?
And I was going to say rambunctious, but I sign everything's hugs, peace, and love. I do all three. So hey,
Fantastic.
Indra.
I'll take that.
I do that too.
Tiff?
My favorite word is no.
Listen, no is a complete sentence. It's a complete thought, and it is definitive.
Can I borrow that word? I have a hard time saying no to people.
It's a whole mood.
Oh, come on. When
whole
you have to talk to me a little bit. What?
A whole mood.
Oh, that's right, Kimberly. That's right. My favorite word is winning.
I love that.
I say that a lot. Winning.
Okay, so we'll go Adrienne, Tiffany, Indra. What is your least favorite word?
Oh, scabs.
Okay.
Right? Don't that just make you just want to? I mean, that's a gross word. I'm sorry.
Yes.
So you don't like
Okay.
that either, Kenny. I can
No.
That's gross.
Tiff?
My least favorite word in the whole world is the N word.
Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Indra?
I guess my least favorite word has to be can't.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
You know, we weren't
yes.
allowed to say it as children. in the
We
house.
weren't either.
We weren't allowed to say it.
Mm-mm.
Let's go Tiffany, Indra, Adrienne. What turns you on?
Oh my goodness. What turns me on? A beautiful dark black man.
Oh, Kenny.
My
he's
baby
like,
said,
he's Vanna Whiting
Stop playing,
himself. He's like,
can he stop playing? I'm telling you that since 20, 30 years ago.
oh gosh, that's so funny.
What about you, Indra?
I have to say, beautiful spirit of a person.
Yeah.
That really just like that. The beautiful, and they're not ashamed to show it. You know.
Yeah.
That. Yeah.
Adrienne?
I would say being kind to people that you can get nothing back from. That you're just kind to everyone equally and not doing it just because you want to impress other people. I fell in love with my husband because of that.
Wow.
You know, I told him that he could meet the devil and be like, "Come on in, have a cup of coffee."
Do you know about Jesus?
Listen.
He loves him some Jesus, but he'd invite the devil. Come on in here, devil. Let me talk.
Come on, Satan.
Yeah,
Sit down for a minute.
Got no power over him.
Come
Exactly.
on over here. Yeah.
Okay, let's go Indra, Tiffany, Adrienne.
Okay.
What turns you off?
Again, the ugly spirit of a person. I total turn off. I don't have time for it. I keep it moving. That you stay over there with yourself. I'm gonna be over here with myself. Winning.
Right.
Yeah, I got to piggyback off of that. What turns me off are people who are killjoys. You know what I mean? And then they try to suck the life out of you so you could be just like them.
Ugh,
Sorry.
a mess, right?
And I'll go the opposite of what I said as well, as being rude to people who are in the service industry or people who are delivery people or cab drivers. I just despise people who treat others like they're their personal servants. I just,
Yeah,
that's not cute.
it's not cute at all. Not cute at all. All right, let's go Tiffany, Adrienne, Indra. What sound or noise do you love?
What sound or noise do? Okay, the sound I like is when my mother goes boo.
I love that. I love that because I've heard her say it. And it's said with so much love. Yeah.
Oh my word. I really don't. I mean, I'll just be my hokey self. I think music And I know that sounds weird, but
Not
it's
at all.
gotten me, it's helped me survive through this pandemic like nothing else. Music.
I have to say, rain hitting the roof.
Oh,
Oh,
One of my favorite sounds.
yeah. You know, one of mine is crashing waves.
oh, I
I
love
Whenever I go on vacation, I can fall asleep right on the beach just because of the sound of the water. I just love that sound. Okay, so let's go. Adrienne, Indra, Tiffany. What sound or noise do you hate?
smacking, like gum smacking, and oh gosh, it drives me crazy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awful sound. I hate. Sound do I hate? I don't know. Gum smacking is one. I don't like gum smacking. I got most that does it. I just want to. I love it.
Snatch it out. Yeah.
And Tiffany.
I would say probably Donald Trump's voice.
Well, I don't listen to it, so I don't even know how
I don't listen
sound no
to
more.
it either. I don't listen to it either.
Yeah.
Just
A
garbage.
distant memory.
Yeah. Okay. So this one, let's go. Tiffany, Indra, Adrienne.
Okay.
What is your favorite curse word? And yes, you can say it.
Oh, I can say it. Son of a bitch.
Favorite?
It just has a in and that in, you know.
I'm sure all of my close friends know that one of my favorite words is the F word. That's my favorite.
What's the F word, friend?
She don't want to say it. You want me to say it, girl? I say it for you. You want me to say it, Indra? Okay.
That's my favorite curse word. I just
I know that's right.
encyclopedia of it sometimes. And it's like, yeah.
Adrienne.
Well, I use all of them. I am a connoisseur.
Yes.
I make up words that you can. But if I had to pick a favorite, motherfucker.
Okay. Yeah.
Good one.
Yes, that's a good one. It got a
no,
not mother, motherfucker.
Ma.
That motherfucker, blah 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 blah. That
Yeah.
it just goes bam, just right off the tongue. That's terrible.
MUH. Yes.
Oh,
Yes. Okay. Let's do Tiffany, Indra, Adrienne.
okay.
What profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
Oh, wow. A professional athlete like football.
That's Serena up and down my wall right here. That's mine.
I see. Football.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. I want to be a tight end. Yeah, football. Oh, I would love to be a professional athlete. Yeah.
Okay.
Interesting enough, I want to be a florist.
Oh.
Now, don't get it twisted. My thumb is not green. I'm pulling a plant as we speak. But I always wanted to be a florist.
Okay. I love flowers. And I too do not have a green thumb at all. I have no plants in here.
I don't have, and I got allergies, but I don't care. They're so beautiful. Smells, and I'll take some Zyrtec. I'll get over it. But
That's awesome.
It's so funny. I'm working with a interior designer to do my living room over, and I hired a Black woman, and she said she came over to see the space, and she was like, "You don't have any plants in here." I was like, "Girl, because I don't have no green thumb, and I would kill it dead." She said, "Well, are you open to me finding you a plant that you cannot kill?" I said, "Girl, if you can find one, you can bring it." So yeah, I get it. But I love to receive flowers. Men love flowers too. So
Hint, hint.
hint, hint. Adrienne.
I would love to be a cosmetologist or makeup artist because I actually have had to hire my sister to give me a makeup tutorial.
Listen,
because I'm not good with all these things, you know.
By the looks of it, you can hire Indra because Indra knows how to beat the
Listen, yes. I call you up and my sister kicks me to the curb. So yes, I would love to be able to do that. Yes.
Listen, look at Lemmy.
Lemmy.
Oh,
see, Lemmy,
you can tell him he'll inbox me. Trust.
Listen,
yes.
that Morris, my goodness. Okay, so let's do Indra, Adrienne, Tiffany. What profession other than your own would you never want to attempt?
Mortician.
Oof.
I'm sorry. I'm scared of dead bodies. I shouldn't be, but I am.
Yeah.
Yes, it's completely beat. Hello. I would not want to be a police officer.
Yeah,
I am a chicken. I don't want to be in the dark. I don't like guns. I would not want to be a police officer. No.
I would not want to be a politician.
Me either. No.
Yeah, I got that. Mm-hmm. And the 10th question, which is my favorite, and let's go Adrienne, Tiffany, Indra. If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
I gave you a voice and you used it. I gave it a gift. I gave you a gift and you gave it away.
Don't get me all messy. I ain't got no onions in here.
That's what I want. I would want God to say that.
I would want God to say, "Well done, my good and faithful servant." Just in the back room there, you'll be able to find Prince Rogers Nelson. I still cry. Kenny knows this.
Listen, and I'm not saying show me where Whitney at. That's
Whitney. Oh, that is amazing. I love that, Tiffany.
I'm the same way. I grew up in church. My father was a minister, and they used to always say, I want God to say, "Well done, my good and faithful servant."
Well done.
I want because I want that. I want to be sure that God knew I tried my best. I tried to be the best person I could be, and I tried to help people to be the best they can be. Was I always successful? Probably not, but I just want him to be proud of what he did give me, and that I did try to multiply it, and I didn't put it in the dirt and keep it away. So I'm hoping that he would say, "Well done, Indra. Well done."
I love it. I love it. See, that wasn't hard. Y'all finished the game. That was really, really great. Funny. So as we get out of here, I wanted to ask each of you if you had any parting words or words of advice for folks out there with these times that we're in and how you're getting through, or anything you want to share as we get out of here. Anybody can go.
Well, I want to say, first of all, thank you, Kenneth, for inviting me to be a part of this panel with these amazing women who I know even more about, and I'm just like in awe of them. And now I'm going to go stalk them now. And I want people to know that you can keep going. Just keep moving forward. If that means you crawling, then crawl forward. If that means you're sliding on your belly, just keep moving forward. Believe in yourself. Believe that you're supposed to be here. The words from the Wizard of Oz. Believe in that. Believe, and trust yourself, and trust that you are talented.
Yeah.
Speak positive into your life. We're always speaking negative. make sure you balance it with some positive. Get that balance.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Balance
Amen.
is so important.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh, go ahead, Adrienne. Go
No,
live.
you go, Doc. I want to hear what you got to say. You always got. Come on.
I'm with it. I was just praying, like, Lord, what do I need to say? I would say never lie to yourself.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
You can lie to somebody else, but don't lie to yourself. Don't be a fool to yourself. When the day I recognized that I was telling myself fables and lies and things that weren't true so that I can be more comfortable in my mess, the day I recognized that was the day I started to make boss decisions. Well, and whether I was the only one in that path, I was okay with that. As a matter of fact, when people are gathered in large numbers, I tend to go around the block and avoid the crowds.
Me too.
Yeah.
I avoid busyness.
Yes.
But that crowd mentality, they all think alike. And I think young singers and young people in particular have to learn how to find your truth. How do you find your truth? If you are a hot mess, just say that that's what you are. If you are finding your way, to say, you know what, I'm finding my way. Do not lie to yourself, and surround yourself with people who are like-minded.
Yes.
Like-minded people. And if those people are a mess, then you might have to ask yourself, why am I attracting a bunch of mess? When I realized I was attracting the wrong people, I had to realize, like, why am I attracting the wrong people and then getting mad at them for being a mess? I need to figure out, why am I attracting this crowd? And when I became a little bit more true to form and who I am and who God made me to be, then I started attracting like-minded people who reflected who I am, values. I don't have to put on airs around my friends. I don't have to pretend to be something that I'm not around my friends. I don't have to worry about people being intimidated because I'm ambitious. You know what I mean? If you're feeling like the people you're surrounded with are against you, then you need to do some soul searching. And in order to do some soul searching, you have to learn how to be alone. You have to learn how to be in that solitary space. You have to learn how to shut your mind down and dig deep into the spirit so that you can find out what your true purpose is. And until you really connect to that internal space, you'll never know what your purpose is.
Mercy.
Amen.
My word,
Amen.
you done made all the words go right out of my brain. That was good. Oh, that was just wonderful.
Thank you.
So I guess the only thing I can add to this is ditto to what Indra said and ditto to what Tiffany has said. I would just add that opera is one thing. And there are different kinds of opera. You got the old opera by the old people who did, and you got the new opera. But I would encourage you to live, experience something, find something you love that informs you when you go on that stage. Because everything that you wear, meaning everything you put into your brain, everything that you hear, everything that you watch, everything that you write down, all of that stuff will inform you. And I will say this as well. I feel like part of the reason people are always talking about opera's dead and all this kind of stuff, you know why? Is because we are closed off. When we open our hearts and open our minds to other experiences, when you sing that Aida that you're going to study for a year, like Andrew said, now, come on, you will have all of these experiences to inform what is O Patria Mia. Where is that? You don't have to come up with it because you're trying to live it. So I say find something outside of opera that you're as passionate about as opera and go for it. Because people always say you into too much stuff. Don't tell me what I'm into. You know, I say go into as many different pals as you can, put them all together. You robe yourself in them. Robe yourself in the greatness of country music. Why not Trisha Yearwood? Come on. You know, I mean, I love all, there is no, I'll just say this, and this is just, I'm gonna get off my soapbox. There is no music that is greater or more prestigious
Than
than the
any
other.
other.
And I have been in historically Black colleges, and I have beautiful friends who went there who were feeling so down because their voice teachers were telling them that they couldn't sing gospel music. And I was like, why wouldn't you be able to sing? Have you heard Tremaine Hawkins?
Oh my God.
Okay.
Lucretia Campbell.
Lucretia Campbell, who can sing rings around some of these people who trying to say they opera singers. So take that title of opera. Yeah, I'm an opera singer. I was trained. I paid all that money to go to school. But embrace your whole instrument, embrace your whole musical world, and bring it all in there. And listen to as much as you can. I love every kind of music. I'm not saying you can't just love opera. Now, if that's your thing, if that's all you want to love, that is fantastic. But I can guarantee you, if you take 30 minutes out of the day and just put on some reggaeton, you know, and just put on some bachata, you know, or put on some other type of music, that is going to inform your mitradi. I'm just saying.
Come
it
on,
really, truly is. I was talking to listen, you should see my warm-up list that I warm up for opera. Has Sandy Patty, Katy Perry, Larnell Harris, Tremaine Hawkins, Patty Austin. Come on, Luther Vandross. You know, my girls from an Intimate Apparel know, don't I be playing that Kimberly Renda? Child, I would be singing that stuff while I'm getting ready to go out there to sing some, you know, just why not? I don't need to sing to get my voice on point.
Right.
I'm just saying, just embrace all the music.
That's it. All the transferable things, right? It's kind of like if you went to, like, I say, martial arts school, and you learn how to be a martial artist. It's not to say that you're going to go out and perform as a martial artist. You take the things you learn, those transferable things, and you apply it to your life. For some reason, in the opera culture, what we learn as musicians, we don't see as transferable qualities. If we can't be that thing, then we don't want to be anything else. And it's antithetical to creativity. It's like there are a lot of transferable things about opera that we don't catch.
Yes. So this, like what I learned, I just want to say that so I took Taekwondo all of my years when I was at Eastman. And one of the first lessons you learn is you're in competition with yourself. And I still use that to talk to my students. You're not in competition with anybody else. You know what? You need to sing that F a little bit better than you sang it last week. You need to do that. You need to do that. Yes, I'm sorry to cut you off, Tiffany.
No. I already had my turn, but I just wanted to add that in there because you brought that out of me. Those transferable things, things that can apply to anything.
Right.
Even in opera. Yeah.
It's one instrument.
Yes, indeed. Ladies, I adore you, and I am so grateful and thankful that you chose to spend this evening with me and share your stories, your journeys, and your inspiration. I'm inspired by all of you, and I'm so honored and happy to call you sisters and friends, and I wish you unbounding joy and success and all the happiness that your heart and hands can hold. So before we go, I just wanted to say next week, join me right here again, Monday night at 7. Next week's panel. Now, I love all of my guests. I really, really do. Otherwise, you wouldn't be on here. But next week is a panel that is so special and dear to my heart. Oh my God, I'm gonna go take these next 7 days until next Monday and like jump into a journalism class so I can learn how to be professional, because I know me, and next week it's just gonna be really, really emotional. So the show is called The Kings of the Court. And I have 4 men on this panel next Monday. that mean so much to me. Gordon Hawkins,
Mm.
Arthur Woodley,
Mm.
Alvy Powell,
Mm.
and Donnie Ray Albert.
Oh my God!
I am overwhelmed.
Oh my God.
I am so overwhelmed by
That
that.
is so amazing.
When I reached out to them and asked them if they would consider it, they all said yes immediately. And then came the task of trying to find the day that they could all do, because they're all in different time zones, Houston and Arizona and New York and DC. And we were able to work it out for next Monday. And they're excited just to spend time with each other, because they haven't seen each other in so long. And these men meant so much to me and mean so much to me, because they're the legends that I can reach out to and call and talk and get advice from. And they've been that for me my entire career. So to have them all on this panel next Monday is one of the greatest joys I could ever experience. So come back next Monday at 7.
We'll be there.
Yes,
The
we
King-
will.
This is the
King-
beauty. These are the beauty of the ironies of COVID-19 is to get
Yes.
other things to happen.
Oh my God. COVID-19 has not been a complete disaster. It has, Karen and I were talking, Karen Slack and I were talking the other day. If you don't come out of COVID changed and better, that's your fault.
That's your problem.
That's on you.
You can't be.
That's on you. That's on you. And part of the change, and I know y'all probably sick of me saying this every week, part of that change is what you do on November the 3rd.
No,
Part
we're
of
not
that-
sick of it. Keep
Part
saying
of
it.
that change,
Learn it, Kenny.
you have got to show up. Now, I'm not going to tell you who to vote for, even though you should know better. But what I'm telling you is that
Yes.
what we learned from 2016, 100 million of you didn't vote at all.
Mm.
We cannot have half of the country not vote, and then 1/4 of the country make decisions for all of us. That is unacceptable, and we have to do better. We have to do better by ourselves, by our parents, by our grandparents and great-grandparents and ancestors, and everybody who fought, bled, died, was enslaved, who came through it, who marched and did all of that, as well as we need to represent for our children and grandchildren and their children and their children.
Yes.
Hallelujah, man.
You know, and being able to show up and say, thank you, John Lewis. Thank you, RBG. Thank you, MLK, for doing what you did for us. So show up. Make sure that your registration is current, that you are on the roll, you are on the list, that you know where your polling place is, that you know where your county clerk's office is if you want to hand deliver it, that you know that your post office is not about foolishness, and that you have requested your absentee ballot, that you've done all that you can do to make sure that November the 3rd does what it is supposed to do. We live in a democracy, and we have to practice that and make it work for us. So I'm going to leave y'all with that. And I'm going to keep reminding y'all about it on this show and on my Facebook post. Y'all going to get sick of me, but you need to know to vote.
Yes.
You got to vote.
Speak out. Your words, they hold a lot of weight, Kenneth. So keep speaking out.
So, and you know, things are changing, things are moving. I know there's a lot going on social media. The word has gotten out that I have, after 15 years, resigned my position at Opera Noir of New York, a company that I co-founded 15 years ago. And you know, things change. Things change. You know, there's a song, everything must change.
Oh, yes, I'm
Nothing
going to sing that soon. Yes, I'm going to be singing that soon in November. Go ahead.
I've learned so much from it, and I'm planning to use those tools and those experiences for the next levels and stages of my life. So I ask that you pray for me and continue to support Opera Noir in its new direction with Robert. And I am grateful for all of you tuning in every Monday. Grateful that you tuned in to celebrate Jesse Norman last week. And don't forget, I'm still producing a film and trying to make it happen. So go to blackopperafilm.com and check us out and put a coin or two in the donation box. We will be so greatly appreciative of that. So join me here next week with Kings of the Court with Donnie Ray and Gordon and Arthur and Alvy.
Yeah.
And thank you to these three queens right here on my screen. I adore you all.
We love
Love you too, Kim.
And once we get off air, don't sign off yet because I want to thank you in private and say some stuff we can't say on the air.
Bye, everybody.
That's how we do. And don't
Yeah.
forget, tomorrow's Karen Slack's birthday, so go shout her out on her
Yeah.
Facebook.
I'm gonna get her. I'm gonna get her real good.
And congratulations to Afton Battle and Fort Worth. You did a good thing there, folks, and we can't wait to support and see what happens there. So thank y'all so much.
Cool.
Good night.
Bye.
I love you guys.
Bye.